the schedules, here's how they line up right now. Tennessee, they got the biggest one. And I know we talked about that Alabama game as the biggest home game, maybe in the last 20. This is the biggest road game, maybe in the last 20, 30. They're at Georgia next week, 3-1. After that, home against Missouri. Then they see South Carolina and then Vanderbilt. What a reward. What a reward. In a sense, Georgia finishes the year. They host Tennessee. On the road at a Mississippi State that can get gnarly. Then they go on the road at Diet, Georgia, at Kentucky. And then they got their in-state rival, Georgia Tech. Tennessee's road is obviously, it's a flat, real smooth, nicely paved, well-lit deal once you come out of Athens. No matter what happens in Athens, you're going to be well taken care of. If these two teams play close ball overtime, we get treated to a classic. Field goals difference, extra points worth the difference. And they're both undefeated. Should the loser still merit consideration for one of those 4 final spots?
Sure, of course. They'll be there. You're going to be in consideration. It's going to be about everybody else. So
because you won't have to go see Alabama, Hack. Honestly,
well, you're going to have to see Alabama at some point.
No, now if Tennessee loses next week to Georgia, 38-37.
Sure.
You already let the world know we're toe-to-toe with them if it ain't for this, this one kick, this one specialty. Okay. Georgia then goes on to play Alabama to settle it in the SEC, and we stand over here. We may not be the groom, but we're the best man. And who else is better than us as the best man out there?
That's the best man got that as well, too.
Say it again.
Best man, I said, and the best man also got that as well because they got Bama's ass. So hey, so the best man's sitting there going, "Yeah, we're good." I don't know. You make a good point,
Felder.
I think we've talked about this before. This has been talked. I've done it on other shows. We've talked about this a ton. Like the reality of it is if it ends up being this kind of round robin situation where Tennessee loses to Georgia close, Georgia loses to Alabama close, and now we got these 3 all sitting there right there, and Alabama's a champion, and then Georgia and Tennessee, you're looking at what are we going to do? Ohio State's the only sure thing that's getting in. And then the problem is not which of those 3 gets in or who gets left out. The problem becomes if you're Clemson, if you're TCU, if you're Oregon, if you're any of these other teams, that becomes the problem. It's not like those teams are going to, if you're Michigan.
I think it's more so Tennessee or Clemson and TCU at this point in time, because at the end of the day, Oregon's got a loss. At the end of the day, Oregon's got a loss.
Those are the first 2.
If Clemson and TCU, though, run the table, and to your point, you haven't even mentioned Michigan. It's going to be Michigan or Ohio State out of the Big Ten, obviously.
Right.
But take that aside. If you got to start picking between, do we take a one-loss team or an undefeated team? That's going to be impressive, even if it's a more impressive one-loss team. And that's where we're going to see the balls of the College Football Playoff Committee, in my opinion, what type of stones they got. Because that's a tough thing to say. Hey, yeah, that's cute. Congratulations, Clemson, from rising from the ashes last year, going undefeated, winning the ACC. But better luck next year, guys. Good luck in the fucking Peach Bowl. And what are we doing?
Last Saturday, you read about that Peach Bowl deal. Last Saturday, I reached out to a senior member of the media, highly lauded, who's in a lot of those meetings in the College Football Committee. And I said, is it going to be 4 best or is it going to be the resumes? And he said, they're going to wind up going 4 best. He said, when all the smoke clears and the battles get fought and all the rest of that stuff, he goes, they are going to move 4 best. Now, hopefully the season will play itself out. Can TCU and Clemson just make this run? And we're going to go into TCU here in a second. But if they lose either one of them, then anything can happen. Yeah, you're right. Honestly, yeah, you're right. All that the thing that's going to happen is they're going to be out because your loss in this neighborhood is not going to match up with what's happening in the Big Ten or down in Jurassic Park. It's just I cannot wait for these last couple of weeks. Speaking of,
I know we got to get to TCU, but here's the thing that I'll say: we have to remember that this is an agreement between 6 guys, right?
Yep.
The SEC, ACC, Big Ten, Big 12, Pac-12, and then Swarbrick at Notre Dame.
Oh yeah,
Jack Swarbrick at Notre Dame.
Yep.
6 commissioners. None of them will
That's
allow.
Funny you call him a commissioner, huh?
None of them. Well, he's the AD, but the rest of the other 5 are commissioners, and none of them will allow an undefeated team from their league to be passed over. And that's the part that I think about all the time, because this is still a gentleman's agreement. And the biggest thing that we have to remember is they want to make sure this is one of those things of, it's not just that the enemy and my enemy is my friend. It's the idea that if they could hurt them with this, then they could hurt me with that. And it's the idea that maybe there's a year that the SEC has a champ that's not very good, but they still went undefeated. And all of a sudden, you're going to put the Big Ten team in over me that we can.
Yeah, but this is the last.
We got to go.
This is the last battle, Felder. This is the last year we battle. But it's after this, we go. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is that the idea, the rules that the gentleman rules. I don't know. You guys know about parlay? I don't know if you guys are pirate guys or not.
Yeah,
they have this.
I watch Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
I ain't gonna front. I nodded my head. I don't know shit about parlay, but go ahead.
It's when you accept peace so that you guys can have a discussion and you know one's going to kill each other. And I think that's what I think for them. They're not gonna cut out an undefeated champ. I just don't. I don't think they're gonna do.
Well,
it.
but here's what they have done.
To Christian's point, I don't think they have the balls. I don't think they have the balls to do that.
They won't cut out an undefeated champ, but a one-loss non-conference champ Alabama's made the playoffs before, and a couple other teams have done that without winning their conference, have made it on and over other.
How many undefeated Power 5 champs have been left out ever?
Yeah,